Hello everyone, my name is Tia Benjamin, and today I will be doing a literacy center for high level readers in second grade. The story that we will be participating on will be There's No Place Like Space by Tish Rabe. The standard for this activity will be write a narrative in which the students recount well elaborate events or a short sequence of events in a story. For the activity, the students will go to their red folder. It will include directions. The first activity, or the only activity because it's going to take a while, will be a writer's workshop. So the students will write a story about their own adventure with the cat and hat, and then after that they will create a Venn diagram to compare their story with the cat in the hat story. The planning sheet that they have to help them create their story. They write the setting of their story, the characters, the plot, the beginning and the middle and the end to help them into writing their own story. And then here I have the rubric. The students will be graded on their sequence, details and development, conventions, and their Venn diagram for a total of 40 points. For sequencing, excellent will be strong, beginning, followed by middle, and end. Transitions are smooth. So the students use their graph to flow their events in their story together. Next, it would be details and development. Includes a plot, setting, characters, and is clearly described in the story. So they made sure that they included these up here, these main details in their story. Then their conventions, there's no errors in punctuation, spelling, or grammar. And their Venn diagram, they included 3 differences and 2 similarities. My rationale for doing this activity with the students is higher level students should be able to read an information and put their reading skills into writing. As McLaughlin stated, writing centers allow students to write formally. This activity will help the students to practice writing formally. The writing formally is a skill that is very important to know. So by having this literacy center, I'm giving the students an opportunity to practice without being formally assessed on this certain activity. So practice makes perfect, as they say. As well, the rubric that I chose for them, as I stated, just stated that writing is a very important skill for students. So the rubric that I will be grading the students on is going to make sure that they include the components that are very important to a story. I will be able to provide them with feedback on what they did good and what they did wrong, and then in turn they can work on what they need to work on. So we need to make sure that the students are getting this practice and seeing where they're making their mistakes in order to become better writers. And lastly, critical thinking skills. This activity is allowing students to think critically. As stated in the critical thinking article, with writing, students do not scan their writing, and they do not look to see if their writing is clear, precise, and relevant. In the directions, I clearly stated to the students, be sure to reread your story once you have finished to make sure you have good grammar and no spelling errors. Make sure that you use your planning sheet. So, I am basically telling the students that you need to make sure that you go back, you read what you wrote, make sure that it is in order with what you wrote in your planning sheet, and that you didn't make any mistakes. So I'm making them consciously go back and go over the information because, as I keep stating, writing is such a very important skill for students to develop. So they need to make sure that they're on topic and that their writing makes sense to not only themselves but to the person that's going to be reading. So that's it. Thank you for listening.